as a matter of policy, and they don't look at how cases are adjudicated as they're happening. But, you know, these cases they send messages, they're bellwethers as to, you know, how functioning our legal system is. They also claimed a self-defense defense.
Yeah.
And, you know, people have to contemplate the idea that, like, I could take a gun, get up into somebody's face for no reason, and if I'm all of a sudden scared that they're going to attack me, then I shoot them dead and self-defense. I mean, it is. And
if the victim of the murder has a gun, then I'm sure it's like a heads you win, tails, or heads I win, tails you lose situation. Like, oh, that's more reason to fear for your life.
Whoever's dead.
Yeah.
They were the one who was threatening the person who had to kill them because they were threatening them.
Our self-defense laws largely are set up to aid and abet this kind of vigilantism
but
for white people.
That vigilantism wouldn't work if that was like a Trump protest, for instance, and some guy got in your face and tried to disarm you and you iced him. I'm guessing you'd probably go down for that.
How about this case coming out of Kenosha as well? Crystal Geyser, a black teenager who was essentially coaxed into sex trafficking when she was underage by a white man. She killed him in Kenosha and is being tried right now for that murder. I mean, that's like what people are putting up against the Rittenhouse case, but that's just another example of how self-defense only really applies to a certain segment of the population.
And just overall, like, guys deciding, oh, I'm in the clear to kill now it's hard for me to divorce that from the context of America, where we were never able to pass anti-lynching legislation in this country because that was politically impossible.
Yeah, right.
All right, so just contemplate this. The idea, and again, I didn't watch the specifics of the case, but just broadly speaking, the idea that a man jogging down a street and is chased ostensibly because he doesn't look like he belongs there, he being black, the chasers looking being white. He's killed, has no weapon. It's all on video. And imagine the things you can glean from the idea that these people were convicted. And note that the jury was mostly white, all white.
Mm-hmm. They weren't swayed, it seems, by the toenails argument.
Oh, yeah, that he had dirty toenails, which,
so
of course,
it. Great. Yeah, thank you.
Imagine what, and also recall that you had all these public statements, or I should say, these statements by the defense lawyers, like, we don't need more black preachers coming in here and sitting, you know, on the side of the family that's grieving. Imagine how, what you could take away from this verdict. I think you could say, like, well, okay, there are situations where a blatant killing of somebody is held to account. And there are actually 12 white people, I don't know how many people on the jury, maybe 11, who can actually find that to be the case. That's one takeaway you could have. Here's another takeaway. This one is from Tulsi Gabbard. Do we have that?
So the jury in the Arbery case got the verdict right today, just like the jury got the verdict right in the Rittenhouse case. These jurors are our peers. They're our fellow Americans. And these verdicts show in both these cases how these jurors had the intelligence and the honesty to make the right decision based on examining evidence and facts, not based on race or politics. So these examples directly undermine the woke narrative that Americans are stupid and racist. Because if America was a racist country, like some people say that it is, Arbery's killers would not have been found guilty by a nearly all-white jury in Georgia. Now, most Americans, people of all races, truly believe in and are inspired by Dr. Martin Luther King's adage that we are all God's children. And as such, we should judge each other based on the content of our character, not the color of our skin.
That's how you know she's completed that full right-wing turn, right? When she's just like bastardizing MLK. They love that. It's a rite of passage on the right.
And we should also say, this is not like, whoa, I got to get on the phone and do this. This is campaign actually that she's running here. She did the same thing. She tweeted out more or less the same thing. She went on TikTok. This is her way of her signaling that because the Ahmaud Arbery verdict was guilty, it proves, here it is, the jurors for both, Arbery's murders would not have been found guilty by an overwhelming white jury in the Deep South if America was a racist country. Now, think about how absurd that is. That for America to be a racist country, you could never have, even in the most blatant of instances, a white jury convict white people of murdering a black person. Just like even like a child understands that that's not the case, right? I mean, even a child. And so you have to start to examine, what is she doing here? And let's play just a couple of examples of her saying stuff that seems to be in contradiction to this, but this was back when she wasn't.
Was she if she existed in her current form in 2008, she would have said when Obama got elected, it ended racism in America. It's kind of like same stuff, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
But here she was back in 2016, 2020? When is it she ran?
She ran in 2016.
Put up those.
No, in 2020, geez.
What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today.
How could that happen? Why would that happen? It's not a racist country. Maybe she didn't realize at that time that when those guys killed Ahmaud Arbery, that they would be convicted. So, I mean, are we not a racist country if our criminal justice system is unfair to black and brown people? I don't know what would you call that?
A lot of things changed since then, right?
That was almost a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
It's not like they get Southern jury roles. What is it? At what point does she say
Here she is. Criminal justice reform must include strategies for dismantling the systemic racism that causes black men to disproportionately receive harsher sentences compared to other races and ethnicities for the same types of crime? That was in 2019.
We should get her on record on when she thinks the jury roles in the South became, not racist at all. But I want to just detail here. This is from First Coast News out of Brunswick, Georgia. It took the police 74 days to arrest Ahmaud Arbery's killers. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says the primary reason for this delayed justice is former Brunswick District Attorney Jackie Johnson. For her alleged role in preventing a proper investigation, Johnson, 49, was indicted September 8th by a Glynn County grand jury on charges of violation of an oath of a public officer. So even this case,
right, not
exactly the smooth sailing one you'd want as a model.
I think the tweet should be, despite the fact that this is a racist country, the Ahmaud Arbery case gives us some hope that there is an opportunity for justice to be served. That would be it. But I am not essentially trying to build my Substack or get on.
Well, this
Dave
is why we
Rubin's
have to
show,
be discerning. This is why we have to be discerning about the kinds of people we bring into the tent of the left. Because just because she went on stage and she had a moment of critiquing Kamala Harris from ostensibly the left, right? No, there is an appetite for criticizing Democrats and an audience for that, and they're not as concerned about the substance of it, and that's why she was able to build up credibility with this very same crowd and able to move to the right in the way that she is doing right now.
There's a nice Wikipedia page that you might want to look up: racial discrimination in jury selection. Just look that up, Tulsi.
Right.